All right, this is, I want to say, part two of the last video, and I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper this time around. In part one, I was talking about how the modern woman, is pretty much the equivalent of the Star of David, Little Hats. But then I listened to a khutbah, and I listened to also a conversation on Clubhouse, which drove me into a more sinister outlook for the modern woman. The modern woman, modern woman of the West, is equivalent of a Zionist, and the key points that I want to bring is number one, she believes that there is no God and that she is God. I hate to say it, but you will hear many modern women say that the man that they should be with should worship the ground that they walk on, that they should worship her. You hear the names goddesses, you hear the names divine that they use as their screen names on social media platforms. Therefore, they're attributing divinity to themselves, while the weak hearted men will buy that. The men who worship Allah alone are not going to buy that. And they're going to say it's shirk. They're going to say that, in fact, it will take them out of the fold of Islam. This is happening. As a matter of fact, one Moroccan woman on Clubhouse, who is very much a modern woman at this point, and pretty much forewent the religious values that I would hope still exist in Morocco, but it appears that it's not. They're slowly depreciating as well. She was of the opinion that men should worship the ground she walk on. That men should bow to her and everything like that. And so, with that being said, when I said we only bow to Allah alone, she said, "That's you." And I'm looking for the man who isn't as aware as you. Another thing that we have to know about Zionism is that Zionism was created by an atheist in the first place. When you look at a Zionist and you put them side by side by a modern woman, what do they have in common? Self-entitlement, thinking that they deserve something that they did not even earn for just existing, thinking that they're a chosen people, and also thinking that they can have what they want at the expense of another people, and also thinking that what they can have at the expense of another people means that those people can be genocided in different ways, shape, and forms. Also, I want to add to the simple fact that they are similar to one another due to the simple fact of their love for alternate type of realities. And what I mean by that is the whole alphabet soup and the whole transgender life that they decided to embrace and decided to push the most. Unknowing to me, the biggest 9-Day White Pride Parade, the first one is in, I believe it's in Los Angeles. That's the number one biggest one. Then the second one is in Tel Aviv. Okay. So I also want to say this too. Anytime you criticize one of them, you're called a few things. When you criticize the Zionists for their predatory and their evil ways, you're called an anti-Semitic. When you criticize the modern woman for her predatory, evil, non lack of accountability ways, and the fact that they won't put the mirror on themselves, you're called a misogynist. You're called a woman hater. You're called an incel. You're called 9AY. You're called, mommy issues. Just for calling them out for the things that they have done. I was watching a video with the Zionists, and they called for extermination of the people who belong on that land. Men, women, and kids alike. When you look at some of these channels, what do modern women call for? The extermination of men. And boys as well. Yes, you can find channels that have this and are pushing this. And because feminism actually allows this to be a part of its program, it is also pushed as well in this regards. Now, what's important for us to know is that there's really, as I said, two options: fight or flight. I'm choosing flight by the grace and mercy of Allah. My flight will come true. Because the reason why I'm choosing flight is because the simple fact of the matter is there's millions of dollars, or I should say billions of dollars, behind Zionism, which includes the misandrist feminists. There's millions of dollars behind X work, sex work. And one of my teachers said that the years only are going to get worse as they pass. So many people may be thinking that, many people may be optimistic about the year 2024. They're thinking that, something's going to change. There's going to be a shift. But it's actually going to become worse in 2024. Now, one thing is about the modern woman is that they always think they're right when you corner them with questions. And that's the same thing with a Zionist. It's that they always have the need to be right, and they won't ever acknowledge their faults or acknowledge their incorrect, how should I say it, their incorrect ways. The thing is about them is I'm not calling to hate them. I'm not saying you should hate them. What I am saying is that you should stay away from them as much as you can. And I hate to say it, but the average American is pretty much a Zionist. The average Canadian is pretty much a Zionist. The average Brit is a Zionist. The thing is about Zionism is there's no need for a God to be involved in it. It was created by atheists, okay? And it's just decided to incorporate Christians in it, although they don't like Christians and they don't believe in Jesus, upon him be peace. In their, I guess you could say, in their program. One thing that I see now on TikTok is you see an uptick of these women who are now saying that they found God. You're seeing an uptick of these women saying that they're now involved in the church and things like this. But this is happening after being ran through and being like decimated. And of course, they're not going to tell you, and they're not going to also tell you that they still have a desire for those same, they still have the same feelings that they had before. Now, there was one woman, and I think I said it in my last video, and this is happening in the Muslim community, and I've been pretty much exiled from the Muslim community due to the simple fact I won't marry a convert. And the reason why I won't marry a convert woman is because she was the same woman that the born again Christian was before they found Christ. And although they're at no obligation to talk about their past, even within our faith, if you are going to marry a woman of a different faith, she has to be a chaste woman. She can't be a woman who was promiscuous, who was sleeping around, giving her body to everybody. She has to be a woman who is pure, actually, even if she is of a different faith. So you can't just, for example, decide that maybe, okay, I can marry this woman from a different faith, but meanwhile this woman has 3 daughters from 3 different men. No, it doesn't work like that. And so that's the same thing with Islam, is when you see women who are having different sons and daughters from different men to their pre-Islamic days. I hate to say it, but yeah, you're not obligated to sign up for that deal. As a matter of fact, they'll try to use the justification that the Prophet Muhammad, alayhi salatu salam, he married widows and things like that. But what they don't realize is that he was marrying them for a righteous cause. He was marrying them because their husbands went off into war, and sometimes they were martyred in war. He was marrying them to increase tribal ties in order that a tribe may embrace Islam. It was for a strategic reason. There's no strategic reason to marry a woman who's been ran through before her pre-Islamic days and all of a sudden found Islam. There's no reason to do that. And that in itself is going to appear in the marriage. It's a guarantee. Even if she is in Islam, it's a guarantee. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that men and women are not the same. Okay? Let me find the verse actually that says that. And then I'll try to wrap this video up as soon as I can. Hold on. Okay. This is in Surah Al-Imran. This is in Surah Al-Imran. So it says in Surah Al-Imran, and this is Surah 3, Ayat 36. it says, Wa Lesa Dakaru Kalu Unta. So what that means is that a male is not like the female. So again, because Zionism, and also the modern Western females' way of thinking, they believe that they are like males. They believe that they can have anything that they want, and they believe that they're entitled to having everything that they want. That's the thing. And so it's like they're like this with each other. And unfortunately, Muslim women follow the same thing in the West. That's why you hear Muslim women talking about the maher has to be $50,000, a G-Wagon, a house, and Hajj. Now, I want to say shout out to the brother Mahdi Chijani. He has very, very good information on his channel. He drops a lot of good information, and I salute him for what he's trying to do. I really do salute him, and I ask Allah to reward him for his efforts. You know, I ask that Allah gives him great fruit for his efforts that he is trying to get across. Now, the thing is that Mahdi Tijani, he's of the opinion and of the viewpoint that we can program a woman to like be traditional in the West, that we can, get back on her fitra. But I have to disagree with that. I think they're so far gone that it's not even, there's no option anymore. And at this point, we just have to how should I put it? Watch and just take action by voting with our feet. So me, I'm going to watch, but I'm going to take the action by voting with my feet. You know what I mean? This is the thing that I know to do. This is the only thing I know to do, because it's no point in trying and exuding effort in trying to fix something that is not meant to be fixed, and fix something that, I hate to say it, that a lot of people don't want to be fixed, that the higher ups don't want to be fixed. So with that being said, all I'm going to say is that that there's many Quranic verses that actually curse the Star of David Little Hats because of the things that they have done. And when you look at females, it's happening to them as well. It's happening to them. Let me see. Ma'idah. So in Surah Al-Ma'idah, it just really pretty much goes over. It pretty much just goes in on the Jews and what they did. So, for example, it says in Surah Ma'idah, it says, Lu'in ladina kafuru min bani Israel Allah lisani Dawuda wa Isa ibn Maryam dalik bima asahu wa kanu yaktadun. It says, the children of Israel who took to unbelief have been cursed by the tongue of David and Jesus, son of Mary, for they rebelled and exceeded the bounds of right. And that's what I'm saying. When you look at a Zionist and when you look at a modern woman, they're in open rebellion with God. And they're also in open rebellion with Jesus, alayhi salam, as well, and what he brought. So this is what I'm saying. You know, anything that I say is not just going to be based off of like just my nafs. It's going to be based off of like evidence. And when you look at a modern woman, what are they doing all day? Crying on TikTok? There's no good men around. Why aren't men approaching us? I'm ready to settle down and be traditional. Antidepressants and the like thereof. Or just being in more delusion. And so it says, and this is for the women, and this also is for women, and also the quote unquote orthodox little hats that don't check Zionism. It says also in this, it says Kanu la ta nahuna an munkar fa'aluhu labas sa makanu yaf'alun. And so it says they did not forbid each other from committing the abominable deeds they committed. Indeed, what they did was evil. So when you look at it, I mean, you don't see modern women checking other modern women for what they're doing. They're encouraging them to do these things. Just like you don't see people who quote unquote are against Zionists checking Zionists for genocide. You see how this works? How this comes full surface? And so it says, Tara kathir minhum yatawalun ladina kafiru libasa ma kadamat lahum anfusahum an sakita Allahu alayhim wa fi adabihum khalidun. So it says, and now you can see many of them taking the unbelievers instead of the believers as their allies. Indeed, they have prepared evil for themselves. Allah is angry with them, and they shall abide in chastisement. So when you look at, like, for example, like Muslim women, they have taken feminists as like their allies, saying that they're oppressed, that Islam as oppression and things like that. They've taken them as their allies, saying that, oh, you need to be rescued, this, that, and the other. That's why you have the cases of the Saudi women. One did OnlyFans. She was the first Saudi quote-unquote OnlyFans model. And then you had one Saudi woman who went into court because they thought, oh, you know, these women are oppressed. You know, and so with that being said, it just goes back to the fact that they decided to take the oppressor as an ally, and it didn't really work out well for them. You know? And then it says, Walau kanu yu'minun billahi wa nabi wa ma unzilla alayhi ma taqaduhum awliya wa lakin kathira minhum fasikun. And then it says, for had they truly believed in Allah and the messenger what was sent down to him, they would have not taken unbelievers instead of believers as their ally. But many of them have rebelled against Allah altogether. And so what I'm saying, and I'm just gonna end there, is what I'm saying is that the only difference between modern women, Western women, and Zionists is that one, well, there's not really a difference. One may not believe in God, okay? The other calls themselves God and also rebels against God, knowingly rebelling against God and not having any self-awareness that God is actually watching and God is going to make them answer for what they're doing. One woman, for example, I think she said that there is no difference between what an 18-year-old woman looks like and a 40-year-old woman looks like. What she left out about men's preferences is that she left out the issue of fertility in this whole thing. But I'm going to end this video right now. And in the comment section, I actually got a book from my teacher, may Allah preserve him, about marriage in the Islamic way. Leave in the comment section if you want me to go live and actually do lessons in regards to what this book says. I have been given permission to do lessons in regards to this book. So leave in the comment section if you want me to do that and go live and talk about it. My thing is not necessarily reaching like popularity. My thing is just getting the message out there. And if the message resonates to you, alhamdulillah. And if the message is in line with Quran and Sunnah, alhamdulillah. And if you want the message, you know, I have the book that I can go over what, you know, what marriage really entails for the Muslim man and woman. Then let me know in the comment section. Fuller signing out. Njaram.